This is Grinstar, and today I happened upon this video right here by Polarity. Talked about the TouchDesigner, which I did not care for when I initially heard the news. In the new Bitwig betas, Beta 10, Beta 9, they added TouchDesigner. They sent it out the newsletter. They were doing a bunch of hoorah, and I'm like, well, what does this mean to me? TouchDesigner is probably expensive. It's probably yet another thing I have to buy, and it just doesn't sound... A UI? Come on. That's not the case. For one, TouchDesigner is free for nonprofit, meaning people like me get to play around with it for free. Because I make no money off these videos. You're probably not going to watch this video because it's about programming and other types of things. So realistically, perfect for me. Because this gets into really cool stuff, and I mentioned programming. Why did I mention programming? Because I found, and I'm probably gonna put it in the title, so there's somewhat of a spoiler. But I found out a way to use Python to script Bitwig interfaces. Pretty cool stuff, and I'll show you why and all that, or how. Overall, a lot of documentation to read. You gotta like, if you don't know TouchDesigner, it's quite of an experience. I was able to get something going in Python in under probably a couple hours, messing around and trying to learn with it. Hopefully I can jumpstart your learning a little bit more with this. If not, take some time. If you're really curious and want to create UIs with complex type of commands to get Python started, it seems to be really interesting. And hopefully you'll conclude that too. But at any rate, video today, go check out his channel. Man's brilliant. I watch it from time to time to learn up on Bitwig on stuff that I never knew. Okay, so first things first, we need to look at the TD Bitwig user guide. This has some information and documentation on the objects that you use within the TouchDesigner. And more importantly, some of the parameters and some of the methods. Methods are important to us programmers. They help us do things functionality-wise. Parameters also, and I'll get into that. And then the second thing is this introduction to Python tutorial, not in a general Python way, but actually in the TouchDesigner way. Really important. Hard to focus on this thing. I found, but once I got my head around it, wrapped around what it's trying to explain and do, really awesome. TouchDesigner is kind of really complex in its Python scripting, so they offer a lot of flexibility and a lot of things that they do. And TouchDesigner itself is something that not only just creates UIs, but it's kind of like Blender, it's kind of like DaVinci Resolve. It's somewhat of it messes with videos, messes with images, creates 3D images. It's kind of really wild and complex studio. But enough about that. I suggest at least looking at these 3 pages. For an example here, let me make sure that I got and already tested it to make sure. But in controllers, down at the bottom, you have to add the TouchDesigner. You got to add it by this first, that when you do the add controller. Very kind of hard to find, but you do add controller. Whoops, no, not that thing. Add controller, and then hardware vendor, I think it is. Oh yeah, no, it's like that. And then there it is. Like I said, and then you click on it and add, and basically it sets this up. Kind of important to do. So realistically, what I want to do is I want to mess around with the clips. I love Bitwig's kind of being able to go between the clips and being able to fire them manually, but I kind of want to write a script or mess around with the script that fires them off the way that I want to. I want to sequence my clips, and I want to do it randomly at some times. I want to make some music generatively and stuff like that. I won't be getting into that advanced. I'm just gonna be showing you the kind of the starting ropes. But anyway, I got a couple of clips here, 3 clips, couple of tracks. All right, it doesn't really matter what they do. It just matters that they're there. Okay, so nice, complex TouchDesigner here. This thing is complex as crap. And it's kind of crazy, but the more important things are, and I'm not going to go over a tutorial on how to drag and drop these things. Actually, the YouTube video that I showed you by Polarity is actually really good. He explains how to go through it and how to do some of the initial stuff on TouchDesigner itself. I am mainly focusing on the programming side. So you see the Python window here. I will show you how to do that. So I got this on. It's connected. It's set up. So basically in here, you go to Textport and it opens up this little interface right here. And in here, you can actually write Python scripts and stuff like that. If you don't want to do it, there's other ways like this that you open up operators for execute. And it does it. And I'll get into this later because I had to like minutes before doing this tutorial, I actually learned how to do this. So in here, I got a couple of clip slots, and these are responsible for actually playing the clips. And then you can see which track that each of these are on. So basically they're on the first track. So it looks like I'm possibly not connected. Okay, hold on a second. All right, they were connected. I just had to pin the tracks to get it to pop for these two. So if you do this, do that, you see that the analog lab 5 goes from track to track, and then you could select the clips down here and you can see the clips. So if I do the next track, the clips should change, and they do, right? And they do previous track, and the clips changed again. And so why is this perfect? Well, because you go into, where's my notepad? Oh, hey, quick way to edit stuff. You got this little edit button, pops up notepad, by the way. Okay, so I have some loose Python script to help me find things. So basically there's this OP thing, and it's kind of like the universal finder. So what this does is it finds everything from the project. And then the next thing that I had to learn is that there's these names right here, this clip slot, and this one right here. So I want to grab this one. I want to copy it, and then I want to go back over here, and then I want to press /, and then I want to slam it in there. And then basically I'm going to grab that. I'm going to actually rename this to clip 1. And then I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go into here. I'm going to paste the value. It's going to go. So if I hit clip 1, normally in Python, if you type in this something, it'll tell you what the value is if it's an object. So it lets you know if it correctly grabbed it or not. Usually it'll say like a nothing. I was having a lot of problems trying to find that sucker. So okay, now we have the object, and now we could do stuff like launch clip 0. And what this should do is it should kick off Bitwig, and we should start hearing it. And we hear it. So I'm going to stop it again. I'm going to launch clip 1, and it should have a different sound. And you notice that there's these things that come up in the text is because I have something in here that basically they have these little script things, and I have in here that when here, let me stop Bitwig. Okay, so what happens is that there's these events or callbacks, they call them, and basically on playing it's going to say hello. So you see hello in the scripting interface to let me know that I started playing the script, and then on stop I say clip stop. That's my jam. So when I put in 3, it's a 0-base index, so literally it goes 0, 1, 2, and I only have 3 clips. So basically 3 didn't exist, so it stopped. So you basically saw the stop message. So you could also say Let's start it again. You can say stop clip. And basically because it wasn't running. Now I have 2 clips running, so therefore it's basically only playing the second clip because I didn't stop the other one that's going. When it plays, it plays them both because I guess that's what Bigwig's doing. Either way, this is listening to my commands in Bitwig, which is pretty cool. You have a real-time interface for programming with Bitwig. And if you know Python or want to learn Python, you can actually set this up to do things. So one of the ways that instead of just doing this by hand, because normally why would you do this? You other than the coolness factor of like real time playing around with it, it's kind of useless because basically you want it to perform scripts and do what's called macros. And macros are like kind of snippets of code that execute on like maybe a key press or something like that, or a button press. So we got a button here in TouchDesigner, and this button is hooked up to a node to let us know that it's clicky, but it also it's hooked up to a script here. And in this script, we kind of execute the same thing. We say, hey, go find the clip slot 1, and then we're going to launch the clip. So when we hit the button, you should start hearing things. Let's do this again. I did that fast. Click button. Boom! And in the script, it says hello, so actually I needed to say... So it's executing the print statement out to the debug terminal. It's grabbing the clip, this thing right here, and then it's saying, hey, play the clip or launch the clip. So you could literally say launch clip 1, and then like have something else for clip 2. My cat is literally scratching me right now. Wants attention badly. Okay, so I'm going for the second one here, and then I wanted to... let's say 2. So it's gonna play 0 and 2 on the second track. And let me make sure that this track, it's not selected. So I want it to be the ARP track. So this one's my analog lab track, and this one's my ARP track. So what should happen is Bitwig should play 0 and 2. So let me get this over here so you can see the difference. Actually, let me play that one. Okay. So when I click on the button, 2 is the third one, 0 is the first one. I meant 1. So that's my fault. This is why we debug, folks. And test. All right. So once again, plays the middle one. So, realistically, now I have a macro. Every time I hit a button, I can play the associated clips. And basically, you can just add more commands. You can tell it to play the next one or wait a bit. In Python, there's probably some timing, so you could time it a little bit better to play it. But realistically, if you wanted to do a bunch of things to Bitwig and you wanted to do it in a programming interface, you can assign it to a button, put it over here, and do this. Now, the button... Whoa. Okay, so the button here was kind of hard for this to work. So this off and on thing, I had to watch it. Basically, I need to stop clicking on the button. Okay, so there's two phases. There's the actual playable phase and then the designer phase, or the live and the designer. If you click on the designer, it ain't gonna work. but the designer is good for all of your properties. And also, FYI, if I do clip 1 par, this gives me access to anything on the panel over here, by the way. Don't do that. I'll have to check that later in editing. But anyways, this par thing will give me access to anything over here. So if I do like clip 1, and then I want to, let's say, pulse these tracks right here. If I click over here, they got this next track. That's the name of the par thing right here. So capitalization is important. So if I do this, and then watch it over here go. Actually, I need previous track, not next. God, this keyboard. So if I execute this, it'll hit the thing over there. See, it clicked and it moved the track. So if I do next track and keep an eye on the properties thing up there. And I misspelt it. Boom, see over here? ARP 2600, okay, so I'll arrow up again to previous track. And it goes off of here and then goes back to the analog. So you can change tracks with this. You can, if you look at the documentation, there's all kinds of weird stuff that you can use to interact with Bitwig and create some really impressive macros and scripting. Kind of overall cool interface. A lot of people said that it's probably only good for live playing, which is probably cool because you could set up like an exclusive display for yourself that you can use on like a laptop or something. Like I have a tablet, which I usually use for this. I have a laptop / tablet, 2-in-1 type of device. So you can use the touchscreen to sit there and play your Bitwig behind the scenes and just have a simple interface to do it. Or you can have some serious macros going on and a lot of commands being executed in the background with Python to actually mess around with Bitwig and get more complex stuff with it. Overall, pretty cool type of functionality. Will the common user of Bitwig probably use it? Probably not. I like it because it allows me yet another programming interface to it using Python rather than Java, or having to work around the Java controller interface and having to fake a controller and or use the buttons and stuff like that on the already complicated, cluttered Bitwig interface. So this would allow it to simplify the interface and stuff like that and do stuff. Again, watch the other video. There's more UI type stuff to this. I'm just trying to focus on the programmatic interface on this and show that you can kind of automate Bitwig with Python, which is actually pretty cool. So, at any rate, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. It's kind of mind blowing. Originally to see this, what I thought was probably a nothing type of announcement turned into, yeah, this is actually pretty freaking cool. Like stupidly cool. But yeah. I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you.